You know what? It can be totally intimidating when you feel like you have to compete with something that your spouse is a complete sold out enthusiast over. I mean, how do you do that?
And she's probably going, enthusiast? He's a nut. I mean, he lives for cars and racing.
And it is hard, I mean, to live with a fanatic about anything, whether
Right.
it's a sport, a hobby,
Politics.
politics, whatever that fanaticism is, it's pretty intimidating because it kind of takes over their personality and their life.
Okay, so one of the things you got to do is enter that world as much as possible. And I know you're cringing as
Yep.
we say that, but it really is true. But as you kind of do your best to kind of enter in.
See what's good about it, to share it to the degree that you can.
Right, and you might even find that you enjoy, and make sure you kind of ask questions so you don't just kind of show up, but you're asking questions to really kind of get into that world as much as you can.
Out of respect for them.
Right, okay, and then what else?
Yeah, and I also think you have to let them know sometimes if it seems like it's just taking over, that it seems like the obsession with that while it started out as a good thing, is kind of taking them and kind of stealing them from the relationship.
Right, and so sometimes you kind of have to maybe demand a fast from that experience for a little while,
and
right?
set some boundaries, kind of that, whatever, the car-free zone. And then
use
it's
some
okay
humor
to
in
do.
that if you can as
Yeah.
well. And it might be something like also saying, when we have dinner, we don't talk about racing, we don't talk about cars. And families, by the way, have had really great success with limiting conversations on certain things. I know, for example, it was
right.
well publicized that the Kennedys never talked about finances at the family dinner table. They just said that's off limits. Why would we contaminate this great social time with financial talk? Maybe it's the same thing with cars or whatever the hobby is that can be off limits.
And you know what? I know women who have gone to funny extremes to make a point. Like dress up like a car or whatever it is. Now are
Really?
you interested in me just to make a funny point? And you have to know your husband's personality.
Okay.
But I think if you can be playful instead of overly serious and nagging, because that's going to chase them away, not bring them close.
Well, it's obvious a passion for your husband. It's a part of him. You have passions too, and so you got to find a way to enter that world, like we've said, and also do it with a little bit of sense of humor to set some boundaries, so that
we all need to be reined in on
absolutely.
occasion.